Hello and welcome to the Eugene Torto YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody that's subscribed so far. If you haven't, go down there, subscribe, help the channel grow. Hopefully I'll get monetized one day. I need 1,000 subscribers. I'm up over 300 right now, and I want to thank everyone who subscribed, like I said. So anyway, today's video is once again about the C4 Corvette, and I was talking in my last video about taking the instrument cluster out and sending it off to Beatty to have it recalibrated and have the oil temperature gauge fixed. That's not the only thing that's not working on that gauge. I'm not sure it's the gauge or if it's the sending unit. It is a new sending unit, but I think they're faulty. But the tack is off. Other than that, everything works. But I decided not to because it's just not in the budget. I still need to finish other pieces of this interior up yet, and some other projects that I got done. I just purchased this. If you've seen in my last video, I just started using this GoPro 9, so that kind of ate into my budget for the C4. So I'm going to concentrate on this water pump leak, and not sure, I doubt you guys can see it from here. It's a funny leak. It's like a drip. It doesn't happen in the summer. It only happens in the winter and when I fire up the heat here in the garage. And I don't think you guys would be able to see it down there, but down there you'll see a weep, and it's not coming from the water pump shaft. It's coming from the I don't know, see if I can point it out. I don't know if I can show you in here yet, but the two bolts were bolts to the block, or at least I believe it is. I'm going to go down there with a bore scope, which is a new instrument bore scope I'll go over with you here in a minute that I got. But I also need to change out the fuel lines, and I'm going to go ahead and take the headers off, I believe, and maybe recoat that. I'm still kind of undecided on that. I probably should. They're not real bad, but I don't like to sit there and wait for them to rot. So as you can see, I already have this panel out, and if you ever remove this panel, this is only on the passenger side that I know of. There's two bolts here that you have to remove, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10mm bolts that you remove, and that gives you excess there. I may have to remove this panel here too, I don't know yet, to get to the fuel lines, but I shouldn't. And I went online well, I already have the fuel lines. I think I showed them in one of my other videos. I don't have them here in the garage with me, but they're stainless steel fuel lines that replace the fuel lines that go from the fuel filter all the way up to the fuel rail, and a return line that goes to that same location. So I'll go over the difference when I get to that. For now, I'm just going to concentrate on the water pump. I already moved the air tube, and I'm going to have to unbolt the AC compressor and remove the bracket on this side. Of course, I got to remove the belt and all that good stuff. And I won't be disconnecting any of the lines to the AC compressor because I should just be able to put it aside and out of the way. I just need to get the brackets off. And that'll also make it easier to get to the fuel lines. Of course, I need to remove all this junk that goes to the air pump, smog pump over there too, which is going to make it easier to get to those fuel lines. But I might have to take that all off at once. So I'll get to work on that. First, I'm going to get that fire up this brand new endoscope that I got. This is really nice. It's dipstick. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. What's really nice about this is it's dual lens. So it has a lens on the end and a side lens. See if you can see that right there. So you can switch between the two lenses, and it's in 1080p, and it looks a hell of a lot. It looks like a pretty good picture on it. So I'm about to find that out, and I'll go ahead and try that out, and I'll try and include that in the video. And we'll take a look down there at where that leak is. Okay, the water pump is off, and this is the side that it was leaking from, and you can see where there's no gasket material adhered to here. And if you look at the block, let's see if I can get a view of the block here. POV, I guess they call it. And get a close-up, and you can see that's where it was leaking from, down that side there. And the gasket's pretty much deteriorated. This motor has about 37,000 miles. If you look down here, it's pretty deteriorated. You can see where rust is starting to form between the gasket material and the block. Inside the block, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the inside the block still looks like new, which is good. And the inside of that water pump still looks like new, which is also good. So hopefully you can see that. See if I can get better lighting. And the shaft feels good. Like I said, this has about 37,000 miles on it. So I'm going to clean up the gasket materials, get them back on. I was lucky enough I didn't have to take off the alternator, the air pump, or the power steering. So I got lucky there. And let's see if I can show you some more stuff here. Of course, here's the old fuel lines. Let's see if I can get this right here. And I'll be while everything's apart, I'll be replacing that too. And I'll go over that in a separate video, I guess. I did order a new fuel filter, so I have to wait for that. And considering everything else looks really good under here. It's a shame about that weep. I've left it alone for years, and this year I decided to just go ahead and get it. Because like I said, during the summer it doesn't seem to leak, but it's probably a good thing I went ahead and did it, because it probably would have got worse during the summer and failed on me. So anyway, I'll make sure I also include footage of the bore scope that I use, the endoscope. And I'll get back to you here shortly, I guess. Okay, I got the surfaces all cleaned up, and I got my gaskets. I got some sealer I'm going to spread on there, RTV. This is the only RTV I have right now in my shop, and I'll just spread that on the gaskets. And I have Permatex number 2, which I'll spread on the bolt threads, because when you thread them in, they're not blind holes. They go into the water jackets, and they need to be sealed. So I still need to clean those bolts up. And as you can see, I got these surfaces all cleaned up, and pretty much just clean those bolts up. Let me see if I can find you one here. There's one of the bolts. I'll get that, hit that with the wire wheel, get it cleaned up, get the Permatex on there, and get this back together, or the water pump on, and I'll probably just leave it there for today. I did poke around with the endoscope. I'll include pictures during this video, or I should be. And looks like there might be a slight oil leak from down where the cover goes over, where the mechanical fuel pump is. I don't know if you can see that from here or not in this video. You might be able to, but it's just like a seeping from that gasket. So I'll reseal that. And once again, now this motor, I don't know if you know the history. I'll leave a link. I'll leave a link somewhere of it up here. But it's a 383. I built it about 37,000 miles ago. It didn't drink didn't leak a drop of oil for the first 20,000 miles. Then I had a leak from in back of the intake, the China wall, of course, and I fixed it, and well, it's leaking again. So I'll probably take the intake off, and when I have the intake off, I might port the base a little bit more too. I only mildly gasket matched it and ported it, so maybe I'll take some more material out too. I don't know. That doesn't cost me any money other than the gaskets. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I got to get the fuel lines done. I'll do that in another video. I'll go over all the intricacies of that. Let me get that water pump back on for now, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, the water pump is in, and everything's sealed up good. I also took, I don't know if you can see it down there or not, I took the fuel pump block off plate off, cleaned that all up. I sealed that up. I still need to finish tightening it up. I'm going to just let this seal overnight and then snug it up some more. And I'm not going to put anything further together right now. Just going to leave it overnight, and tomorrow maybe I'll finish it up. But I am going to be taking that upper intake off, or actually the whole intake off, and seal that intake once again for that leaky China wall on the back. And one thing I want to go over is these fuel lines, and I'll be doing that in another video. But whenever you remove them, if you lower them, when you, like I got these pushed down now, the only reason fuel isn't pouring out of them because it'll actually siphon out from the fuel tank, especially if you have a full tank. So that's something you want to consider. Either leave them hooked up, or another thing you can do is remove your fuel door. Now remove that, and it's only 4 screws that holds that on, 4 Torx screws. And you can either pinch these lines with a pair of like vice grips or something, or remove them like I did and blow the fuel at them. Just be careful when you blow the fuel at them that fuel is going into something that, you know, is not going to be shooting all over the place. Just something to keep in mind. If you don't do that, I've had this happen before. The first time I ever took these fuel lines off a C4 is, and I took them off from the fuel rail. I was changing out the injectors, and I left them overnight, and about half a tank siphoned out. And of course, the whole garage smelled like gasoline. So, something to keep in mind. And same thing if changing the fuel filters on C4s. You always hear people complaining about how they got gas all over them. Well, the best thing to do is remove the fuel door. It's only 4 little torque bits. Little tiny torque bits. So go ahead, remove them, get that door off of there, clamp up the fuel lines, and or disconnect them and blow them out. That's probably the better way. And get them in there. Well, that's about it for today. I still got to put these fuel lines on. Like I said, I'm going to do that in another video. I have this heat shield that's going to go over these too, which is going to help protect them from the heat from the headers and so forth. So always trying to make things better, and more projects to come. So just stay tuned to my channel. Go down there, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down, leave comments, share with your friends, all that good stuff. Everybody have a good day, and God bless.